Strength is Our podcast, so please come by and see us.
Our word is power.
I don't need this. So we all had our own words separately, and I incorporated those and just popped this up real quick. Power. The moment I realized men had disempowered me, the moment I realized this was not the way it had to be. They had the muscles. They were big. They had power. Where was my power? Where were my muscles? Where was my strength? Where was my family? My tribe? How would I overcome? Then I met community of friends, of women in unity. We held hands. We united. We locked arms and charged each other. We found strength and became a currency to move the needle of power together. And now, I barely remember a time when I had no power. Instead of building myself up, we're building trust together through God. We have the power.
In the realm of safety, where hearts reside, money's value fades as love abides. An open heart beats with feelings true, guiding us through life with integrity anew.
Trust is earned, not given away, a fortress of strength, yet warm as day. In the presence, there's safety and light, a beacon of truth, both fierce and bright.
I'm worthy. I'm a royal priesthood, a holy nation. I'm above and beneath, and not beneath, first and not last, blessed coming in and out, one of a kind, special, unique, number one, on top, connected, deserving of God's promise, and worthy is the Lamb.
All right. Our word was healing. It's now our time. Our time to heal. And the time of healing takes different forms. When we heal, we let go and rejuvenate. It's our time of being made whole with all of our inner strength that shines from within. We all have been hurt, but now is our time for healing to process. It's time to restore.
So we're gonna have a couple of people on here, and I'm gonna have them introduce themselves and see what they do, and then ask them a couple of questions about what they took away from this, and see what we could do as a unity to combine and come together. So introduce yourself.
My name is Valerie Williams.
And your foundation or organization?
I have a nonprofit called Love Smart Incorporated.
Okay, and what do they do?
What we try to do is we do teen dating violence, but we try to reach them at an earlier age. So we begin at age 11 and up, and we just bring awareness to them, teaching them healthy relationship characteristics and behavior, what is unhealthy and what is healthy.
And start young, right?
Very
because
young.
as an adult, you don't want to carry on some of
Yes.
these traits.
Right.
Okay. So let me ask you a couple of questions. When was there a moment in your life where you realized what your strength was?
Well, I became a victim of domestic violence almost 28 years ago. February 23rd made 28 years. And it was a one-time 20-minute period. I was shot by my husband 3 times, once in the head and twice in the arm. And so going through that process, I would have never thought I had the strength to even go through that. But I first had to accept that it did happen. And once I did that, I was just like, you know what, this happened to me, but this is not who I'm going to be.
Yes. Okay, so what self-cares and self-love habits have changed, that has changed your life because of your strength?
Just one main one is me being more able to be still and to really go inside myself and ask myself the hard questions. I love being around water, I love going to the beach, but I think most of it is just taking that time to be silent and to be still. Sometimes I just go home and do nothing. Maybe need to clean my room,
There's
but
nothing
I'm
wrong with
just
that.
like, and so I was like, that's what I need at the time. So I've learned to give myself the things that I need, and a lot of times I find it's through that silence that I can hear, what I need, and so that's
That
where the
strength in
self-care.
silence,
Yes, right.
What advice would you give your younger self?
I would give my younger self to build my faith, to continually build my faith, because it's the thing that's going to get you through, and it's the thing I think that keeps you with hope. If you have hope, that's what motivates me, is the hope that it is there. There is an answer, there is a way out, because I have hope and I believe and I have faith. And so that's what I would tell my younger self.
Awesome. All right, so this podcast is for the strong friend, the one who holds it all together for everyone else. And is there anyone in your life who embodies that role, and you would like to say something to them?
Yes, I have a couple of people. One is my sister friend in the Bahamas. She's a safe place for me. A lot of people feel I'm their safe place, but I always say, who am I gonna pour? Who's gonna pour into me when I'm pouring out of? And she's someone I can, like, when I'm fed up and I'm done, even when I'm tired of doing what I'm doing, she's that person. Like, no, man, you here for a purpose. God sent you here for a purpose. This is something we have to do. This is your assignment. And so I would say Denise in the Bahamas.
Awesome. And it's like we do need those strong friends.
Yeah.
And always check on your strong friends, right?
Right,
We don't always
exactly.
have it together. We don't always have it
Exactly.
right. So everybody, thanks for having Val on here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Where can we follow you? Where can we find
Can we
you?
follow
Okay.
you? Give us your links and where to
Okay,
follow.
I'm on Facebook, V Williams Motivates You, and also Facebook Love Smart Inc. Same thing with Instagram, Love Smart Inc. or V Williams Motivates You. You, the letter U.
You guys heard it all here, so follow.
The takeover. That's what we're doing today. All right. So the Shevolution is a movement of women who are empowered to challenge the norm, break down the barriers, and take charge of their own destinies. It is a revolution characterized by strength, vulnerability, and sisterhood, where women come together to inspire, uplift, and support one another. What is the takeover? The takeover signifies the intention of women to actively, got that word? Actively participate in and shape the world around them. It implies a shift in power, where women are no longer passive observers, but are taking ownership of their roles and their contributions. Okay? The key elements of Shevolution: we have to be empowered, encouraging women to believe in their abilities, embrace their strength, and overcome their obstacles. Sisterhood, that's something that's needed. Fostering a supportive and inclusive community where women can connect, learn, and grow together. Social change, driving positive change in society by advocating for equality and representation. Because sometimes they think they're going to overlook us, but we're not to be overlooked. All right? And personal growth, inspiring women to pursue their passions, develop their skills, and achieve their goals. So Shevolution is more than just a term. It is a call to action, a movement that empowers women to be leaders, innovators, and agents of change. That's why we're here today. All right, so a lot of times when we're together, we're in Tampa, we're in Sarasota, we're in Florida, we do summits. Lori here is the president of Victory Over Violence. We connected, Lord, just crazy. 2017. Somebody sent me her flyer. I was on my way back from the Bahamas and sent me her flyer. And I don't know what it was. I just automatically just reached out to her. And I think the next week or so, I was at her conference speaking. And we've been working together ever since. So when we do the summit in Florida, we basically, Lori, just make sure we get the information. We have resources. There's no way you're gonna leave there without knowing, not knowing what's available to women. And so we have speakers, one after after another. So that's the information, that's the resource. But today, I don't vibe like that. You gonna work today. I'm the one that's gonna help you put it into action. I'm all about, I just feel like we have to participate in our life and participate in our healing, participate in our growth, okay? And so we're gonna work. Me and Courtney gonna put you to work. And but it's gonna be good, and then we're gonna love on you, heal you back up. It's gonna be okay because we're here together, right?
Right.
And so this is sisterhood. Y'all can come from the back, because y'all gonna participate too. Alright? So on your table you have these cards, these Shevolution cards. And I want you, this is your icebreaker. You have to go around and find out, introduce yourself, and put their name on here. If they will sing their favorite song for you, they got to sing it. Okay? Wear the same shoe size, whatever your card says, they say different things. You just gonna fill it out when you meet that person and put their name on there, okay?
Even on ourselves, how we self-abandon and betray ourselves. Thank y'all. All right, and now we have table number 6.
Okay. Yeah, we got the big picture. So we had a couple of different themes. Linda, you go first.
To me, what I saw this is they took her soul and it's eating away at her, and she's still holding on to that trauma, whatever happened as a child or as an adult, and you're just holding on to it, so they're eating at you, and no matter what you do, nothing can save you. So.
And for me, I got the 2 separate sides. Like, if this side looks like these are her friends, like, you know, there's nothing that they can do. And then it's the side over here who's, like, manipulated her or, like, forced her into doing something.
And I can't help it. I got to dive a little bit. That's the Scorpio stuff. So to me, this was somebody, and this is really relative to me, because there were many people that were supposed to protect me and either stood by and did nothing, turned their head, or were the ones that inflicted the pain on me. So this was somebody that she trusted at first, that showed her a face. And then when she was vulnerable and open, she changed into who she really was. She didn't change. She really was who she was, but she disguised herself. And that can happen to us in relationships, in business, in childhood, anything. And so she gave her vulnerability to somebody that she didn't truly vet. And how many times have we done that to ourselves, right? Even with friends standing by, and horror, who could have helped, who could have picked up the phone and called 911 and did nothing. And no matter where she tries to go, there's nowhere for her to go, because those tentacles, this is somebody with power that has reached, and every which way she goes, they have her closed in, and all she can do is sacrifice and be powerless and allow her voice to be taken. And so to me, that represents a lot that happened to me in my childhood. But again, like the poem said, I found my community, and that is what helped me redefine what my voice was and to overcome. So that's what we
Val
got.
says overcome.
Okay.
What is your organization?
So my name is Courtney, aka C Love Speaks. I have 2 organizations. My nonprofit is called Nurturing Excellence, where we teach parenting classes to families and youth that are at risk of abuse. So abuse prevention, and then also we provide a support group for female survivors of childhood sexual abuse. And then I am also a spoken word artist and a poet. So my book is called Poetically Preserved, and I do different poetry events and things like that, as well as make candles, and have Love Affairs, which is a luxury picnic business. So get in.
Oh, okay. Definitely. So let me ask you a couple of questions, because this is in honor of International Women's Day.
Yes.
We're going to go ahead and ask some questions and see your thoughts, right? What is a moment in your life when you realize your strength?
think a moment in my life when I realized my strength was the ability to be able to speak up and against the person who sexually abused me as a child. I had an opportunity once I found out that this individual, I spoke up when I was a little girl in 6th grade, nothing was done. But as I got into my adulthood, trying to, dealing with the adverse reactions from that trauma, once I got into my 20s, started having some flashbacks and different things, it was hard for me to dismiss it. Ended up finding out that there were other survivors out there as well, and one that was recent, like 2 or 3 years prior. So then I started feeling the guilt and the weight of like her still being out here perpetrating,
Yeah.
So I mustered the courage up with some other people. It was like 4 other ladies who she had also abused, even at our big ages, and addressing that and going, to the police station and we tried our best because she was working at a daycare as well, to do what we could, and get it at least on, the time in the state of Georgia. There's a time lapse with things. But within myself, I was most proud of me advocating for the little girl inside of me.
Yeah, you took your power back, right? Yes. And that's definitely what we learned part of today is taking that power back.
Yes.
Okay, so what is some self-care or self-love habits that has helped change your life?
Journaling and meditating, but I'll start with journaling. That's how the poetry ended up cultivating.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really feel like I had a voice because, like I said, at the age of 6, when I was in the 6th grade, and I verbalized it, I was hurt. It fell on deaf ears, and so I felt like nobody cared that my voice didn't matter.
Yeah.
And so I guess I suppressed it in some ways, but I also am very proud of that young me or that teenage me who started journaling and writing letters to God. I did have that foundation and believing that He loved and cared about me. And so I found like self-expression by way of journaling. So that has helped me out a lot on my journey, which cultivated into the art of poetry. And then meditating, allowing myself to sit with myself and be able to release it has helped the brain, the heart, and the body. It comes down to clearing some of that trauma.
Silence, right?
Yes.
Like that's very important. Yes. See? Yes. So, what advice would you give your younger self?
I think that the advice I would give her is on confidence. Like it gets better.
Yes,
Believe in
it does.
yourself. The beauty of your heart. Don't be ashamed of your meekness. I was one that was kind of easily bullied by my cousins.
Yeah.
And I used to be like, gosh, like trying to make myself be hard or be what other people were around me. And I never quite mastered that.
And what you're talking about today, right? Finding your voice.
Yes.
It's like, and I can relate to that, right? I didn't find my voice until I was older, until I was an adult. But it's so empowering to find that voice and to be able to grow with that.
Yeah, some people
And
make you
speak
feel
it.
like you weak just because of the fact that you may not be so aggressive or as, in those ways. So having to build up, find that voice and be assertive. I went through that path of because I'm not so aggressive, being passive aggressive, like that's not okay. That's like healthy too. So just for that younger me, just like it's okay to bloom and blossom as you are and to not take on the different forms and identities that are modeled by other people in order for you to survive and navigate this world. Like we're gonna be all right.
Yeah,
sis.
we're gonna be all right. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Now, this podcast is definitely about strong friends. Is there one who holds, and the one that always holds it together? Because we like to hold it together and just act like everything's all right and perfect, but deep inside we're like, crying inside and anything else. So, is there anyone else in your life who embodies that role of being a strong person for you, and what would you like to say to them?
Aww, you're gonna make me cry. I would have to say to my friend Tamika Smith, that's her maiden name, but she's married now, Bailey. She's my friend since the 5th grade.
All right.
I'm a Pisces, she's a Cancer. We are different, in some ways, but we are also like alike. But on the surface, it looks like I'm more extroverted. She's the more introverted one.
Yep.
But her strength is like a silent but solid strength. And she holds space for me in a lot of ways and through a lot of experiences. She has seen me, you know what I'm saying, go through a lot of bruised knee experiences, but she done stayed right there by me. You know what I mean? When it comes down to it, like, she'll go to war for me for the bad part. But she also called me out and let me know, like, here, come here real quick behind the
Listen,
scenes.
I have one of those. I've been friends
You
with
know what
her
I'm saying?
since
She
like
gonna put me to the
89.
side too.
Listen.
You know what I'm saying? She
Yes.
I'm on that front, we together a lot then, but she might put me to the side and tell me, "Hey, listen here, you deserve better than this." But it ain't no
Yes.
throwing under the bus. It's not no, you know, backstabbing that come along with it. She has consistently served as a safe space and that silent strength. And although we may be different in how we show up, I can understand that she understands me and we complement
y'all
each
move
other.
together.
Yes.
Yes, when you come together, you move together. Y'all
Yes.
one, and that's important
Yes.
to have those friends that do that, right? Or even if it's a family member, it doesn't matter as long as you
Yes.
have someone that you can lean on and know if you fall, she gonna be right there to pick you up.
Yes, through
So-
the birth of every child, through just everything.
Everything. So thank you for
y'all. This
coming
is
on.
beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you.
Tell us where we can follow you and how we can follow your organization.
Yes, so on Instagram, I'm C Love Speaks. Oh, Instagram and Facebook. Courtney Lucas on Facebook as well. And then my websites for the luxury picnics is C Love, love is LUV, cloveaffairs.com. And then the nonprofit is nurturingexcellence.org.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for coming on.
And it's 7 tables on. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, it's not. On the back of the images is a number. And so I'm gonna count off. We have table, let's see, starting here, table 1. So you're gonna take image 1. Okay. And I want you to look at that image compared to all the other images. And write about, or y'all can talk about what makes it symbolic as to, and different from all the other images in a way in which a person is divorced and how it will impact them in navigating this world.
My name is Lori Brinson. I'm the president and founder of Victory Over Violence of Florida, Inc. Victory Over Violence was established in 2017 to assist overcomers of domestic violence and sexual assault. We are a resource that, and a liaison for survivors looking for additional tools and resources, and we bridge that gap to link them to those services that they may need.
Okay. So today is Women's Day, right? So in honor of that, we're gonna ask you a couple of questions and see, just ask you a couple of questions, right? So, what was a moment in your life when you realized your own strength?
Oh, there's been several. I would say deciding to get out of the situation that seemed impossible when it came to starting over. Just basically starting over, having that strength to start over. When you get married, you don't ever get married thinking, okay, I'm going to get divorced. But when you end up in a domestic violence situation, you have to make a decision that your life is worth something, even though at the moment you may not feel like it. So deciding that I could move on took a lot. So I dropped basically everything, left my apartment, packed up with what I had in a truck, and went home. And that was very hard. That was very hard to go home.
But that's how you knew everything was gonna be okay. Well, not be okay, but you can overcome that, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was your strength
Yeah.
to do better and want better.
Want better
Yes.
and want better, and I was able to start over, and it's been better, a lot better.
A lot better. I know that. Okay. What is a self-care or self-love habit that has changed your life?
Doing what makes me happy. And that took a lot, actually going through therapy to realize.
Yes, therapy's the key. Please.
To realize that doing what makes me happy is a form of self-love. One of the things I've always enjoyed is going to sporting events and traveling. So I started scheduling
and putting on the calendar something to look forward to, whether it was just a weekend getaway, a cruise, or just going to visit friends. But having that on the calendar gave me something to look forward to, which in turn to me made me happy.
Yeah.
Made me happy, and that's my form of self-love.
Yeah, that's the key, is making yourself happy, right? Not anyone else.
Not anyone else,
Yes.
or depending on someone else to
Make you happy, yes.
Right.
What advice would you give to your younger self?
Ooh. Don't believe the lies. And a lot of those lies may come from outside, but some of them come from inside.
That mental health.
Yes,
Right,
believing
take
in
care of mental
yourself.
health.
Yes, believing in self-confidence, self-esteem. All those things can be damaged by trauma that happens.
Yes.
And don't believe the lies. Know that you are worthy. Know that you are more than enough. I would tell that to myself. That you are beautifully and wonderfully made.
Yes. Okay. This podcast is for strong families or ones who hold it all together for everyone else, right? Is there someone in your life who embodies that role, and what would you like to say to them?
I would say my mother. My mother, she's a strong woman, and I'm strong because she's strong. She embodies strength. Every day she embodies strength, and I'm strong because of her.
Anything that you would like to say to her?
I love her, and I don't know what I would do without her.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Lori. Thank you for having us. How can we follow you? Your social media?
Okay, Victory Over Violence is on Instagram and Facebook. Victory Over Violence of Florida, or Victory Over Violence FL on Instagram and Facebook. And we have a website, www.victoryoverviolencefl.com.
Perfect. Go ahead and follow and subscribe.
Thank you for joining us. We're back again. We are on location.
We out of town.
We do travel, and we outside.
Yeah, outside.
But we drinking.
Everywhere we go. Hey. Cheers.
Cheers. Alrighty. So we just wanted to come to you guys for a little bit and do a recap. We are here in Brunswick, Georgia.
Yes.
And we came up here for a women's retreat.
Yes. Yep.
Right? It's called Shevolution
Yes.
with the wonderful Valerie Williams.
Yes.
In conjunction with Victory Over Violence, Florida. So we came up here for the retreat.
Yes.
It's based in domestic violence and victims of domestic violence and how they found unity, right?
Yes.
And how they overcame together. And so we linked up with them, I want to say, in the summer. And so we've been traveling ever since.
Yes.
But today we want to kind of recap and just give you some highlights of what we experienced today.
Let me say, today is International Women's Day. So
Yes.
Shout out to y'all.
Shout out to all women.
y'all.
Like,
Cheers.
yes,
Keep doing
cheers
it.
to y'all. Keep doing it. Yes.
That's some good juice.
So, yes.
Some good tequila.
So, where do we want to start?
Man, today was packed with so much information. I feel like it was a lot of tears,
Yeah.
a lot of laughs. It was it was a family.
It was good
Started at the-
activities
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Like everything was just so put together and strong.
Yeah. I guess we could start at the beginning. We did a couple of exercises, and one of the exercises were the words on the table. So, and we'll follow up with that at the end of the podcast. But I thought just having those words on the table, you don't think about the power behind the word. So, like, our word was power, but then they have like love and other things. But if you sit and think about the word power, you're like, what does that mean to me? And it can mean so much to different people, like different things to different people.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, and it's true, that the power is within the tongue. They say it all the time. It's thing, but what you say, how you speak it, it speaks volumes of who you are. And I'm learning that's where I'm at in my journey, right? The power of my tongue and how being so negative and so down on myself can change, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm speaking it into existence. So how it changes as I speak positivity, I get that positive turnaround. So yeah.
Yes.
I'll drink to that.
Yes. Okay.
There were some powerful words that we heard
Yes.
today.
Yes.
Before we go any further, though, let me just stop and say shout out to Dee. She is holding it down for us.
Yes,
With the
Dee.
Pretty Palace and the other
you.
girls at
We
the
definitely miss you.
car wash today. So we are holding it down on two fronts today. And so we love you, Dee. So we want to make sure that we hold space for you
Yes.
in this today as
Yes,
well.
you're
We can't
definitely
bring you
missed.
all this information back. We can't wait to
Yes.
overload you.
Yes, it's so much.
And see everything we put together. I can't wait.
Yes, but it was it was good energy in the room.
Yes.
And it seems like there's a core of us, right, that are traveling and whatever and meeting up. But it's always a good time. It's always like a family reunion when we come, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and I felt, to me, I'm gonna speak as myself. Every time we come to these events and these women that come together, I leave a whole lot lighter. I leave with a whole lot of positivity and aspiration to want more, to do better, and to see what can happen when you leave that behind you.
Yeah.
So,
And it's always good to see strong. Like, I really admire Valerie and Lori and Courtney. Like, they tap into some deep things talking to us, and they hold it together.
Yes.
Like, I just be sitting there tearing up the whole time. I'm like, man, like, I don't know how they do it. Their stories are so strong, and they hold it together. And they love, like, they're full of love. Every time we come here, I always feel like family.
Yes.
Like, they embrace us. They make sure we're good. Like,
Happy to see us. Yes.
Always.
And shouting us out. I want to shout out my Florida sisters.
Yes,
like, I love
always.
that. I love that. Because a lot of
even
times,
though Lori's from Florida, but
Yes,
still,
yes.
she a rider. I love it.
Definitely.
But a lot of times you get women together or Black people together regardless, and it's like almost that we can't get along because of slavery, that was been bred into our DNA to put enmity in between each other. A lot of people don't really understand that if the mother showed affection to her child or showed affection to her husband or the grandmother or whatever the case, as normal families do, they would separate them and sell them off because they knew that there was strength in unity. They knew that there was strength in community. And that was the one thing, the wedge that they use is a psychological wedge. So when you see people talking about the PSYOP, it really, there's a PSYOP in place and active right now against in our country, period. The propaganda machine is working overtime. However, there was a bigger psychological operation in dividing Black people because they know that there is power in community and culture, and that is what we had together. And every time we built up something and we were thriving, we ended up washed out, watered out, overpowered. A lot of people don't even realize that the United States of America bombed U.S. citizens.
Yes, they
Bombed
did.
us.
Yes, they did.
You know? And then so let's bring it forward, even to today. Like we said in other, podcasts, that the real enemy is the 1% who keeps us divided. And this is not even just a Black, Puerto Rican, whatever thing. This
Not
is
at all.
a class thing, and I can't get away from that because really the power is in the people. So they keep us divided and they keep us distracted on silly things so that we lose focus and we don't come together. And we had that today.
And I feel like, don't be that, right? Don't be part of that, right? Because making more money, being in a different class, right, financial class, or does not make you any better than the person that's behind you or the person that's in front of you, right? Learn to be united. Learn to walk side by side. I will never judge someone who is less than me. I can't. right? Because I know what I've been through to get to where I'm at.
Right.
Right? So don't do that. Don't be part of that problem.
And I like that when the lady at the end was talking about domestic violence, how you never know what somebody's going through. This person can be making 6 figures,
Yes.
whatever she's making, $1 million, whatever, and this person can be making $12 an hour. But guess what? They're both going home to this abusive man. They're both going home to these struggles. Like, in that part, you are the same person. So why look down or talk down on somebody else who know both can be going through the same thing, and you guys can have unity together.
And money only makes you more of what you are.
Yeah.
If you're an asshole and you hit the lottery, you're gonna be an asshole with money.
Yes.
Money, that's it.
You get to be your true self.
Exactly. And you don't care who judges you. Money is just a key. It's access. But you find those people that'll do anything for money. But today we had community.
Yes.
Today we had faith. We had hope. And it was good energy in that room.
It's,
Go ahead.
It's always good, like I said, coming out to these events with these women, like seeing strong women come together, you know, and knowing my story, right? Knowing what I've been through, knowing what you've been through, like seeing strong women who's overcome, right? Because you're not a survivor, you're an overcomer.
Yes.
Like, right? And Valerie says that all
Valerie.
the time.
Right.
Yes. Like,
reminds us
when
all
she
the
used
time.
that word, I remind myself I'm an overcomer.
That's right.
Right?
Yes.
I've been through a lot, and a lot of women been through a lot, but my whole point to this is like coming out of this, understanding that people, other women who understand what you've been through
Yes.
and who've overcome it and still standing even better than they was before. So to me, that is inspiring, and I love it. I love it.
I think for me, it's hearing other people's stories and I can relate to them. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm not alone. Like, you've been through this too. Like, you know how I feel. You feel this. Like, I'm not alone. I'm not the person where I feel like, you know, nobody else can understand. Like, I can't tell my story because you're not going to understand. I'm like, listen to their story, and I'm like, Jesus, like, you did all this? And then I forget about my story because I'm thinking about yours. Like, oh my God.
And that empathy kicks in.
Yes.
You know what my favorite was? That we did the exercise we did where you fill out the ACE assessment, and you can Google that. It's ACE. It's psychological assessment, but it's also, you know, taking a look at domestic violence and those type of things and making an assessment, and then you get a score at the end, and you can look it up and see what that means.
Yes.
But what was profound for me is we took those papers. There were no names on them, right? Courtney led this, and then she gave the papers anonymously to someone else, right? So you went through and you got your score or whatever, and then you passed it around, and it was kind of heavy because some of those questions were like, were people too drunk or high to take you to emergency to the doctor or something like that?
Yeah. Did you feel safe?
Right. As of 18 and under, this is your 18 and under years, like the times when you're supposed to feel safe.
Right. And how many times does it take before a person, not just a woman, because men are in domestic violence situations as well, but how many times on average does it take before they actually leave in the 7 to 8 times? But what was profound to me about that exercise is the part, so once we switched the papers, she would call out, you know, whatever the first one is, and she did them in order, and if the person's paper you had put a number there, if they had a 1 there, you would stand up for them. And so some people had 2 things on their paper, right? Some people had 9.5 out of 10, right? And so what really stuck out to me is when she said stand up if your person has a number in this particular one. So you would, this happen? So you would stand up, right? And then you sit down. Oh, did this happen? And I realized, like, through that, some people were like, they looked at it and they could see it was a lot of them. So they was going to be up and down a lot. And so they said, well, can we just put our hand up? And Courtney kind of stopped and unpacked that for a minute. And I appreciated that because she said, and very seriously, she said, this exercise is for you to hold space and stand up for your sister or brother that has gone through this. And so it was profound because people do get weary when you're going through it, especially in domestic violence situations.
Yes.
It's so easy to just, why she just don't leave? Why she
Right.
don't do this? Why you don't do that?
And
There's
I will
plenty
say
of
that.
reasons.
Let me cap on that part, right? Because it's true. I've always been a strong woman, always hold ground. I've never allowed people to. I never understood why, right? And I'll be that person that used to be like, oh, why don't she just leave? Why she ain't put until you in that situation? You don't understand. I was in that situation, and I didn't understand until I was in that situation why I couldn't leave. Right? And for those that would be like, I'm sorry, like I wish I was there, it wasn't your situation to go through. It was mine. Right? I had to get through that.
Yes.
I had to fight through that. No one else. Don't hold sympathy, but don't apologize for what is not your situation. Hold sympathy, that's great, but do not apologize for it. Right? I don't want to hear I'm sorry. Sorry for what? It was my situation to go through, not yours. Right? Just appreciate and respect what that person went through to overcome what they did.
Because it's part of your journey.
It's part of my journey, exactly.
I think out of that exercise, the thing that hit me the most was that one question about the sexual, like, assault or whatever as a child. And I didn't want to stand up. So I was thinking in my head, like, man, if I don't want to stand up, and it didn't happen to me, the person that it happened to, like, they don't want to speak up. Because I was like, oh my God, people are going to look at me to stand up on this question? And I'm like,
and it wasn't yours.
And it didn't even happen to me, right?
happen
I'm like
to you.
thinking, like, this is how people feel when they go through these situations. They're scared to speak up.
And they don't
They're
really want to be
embarrassed.
seen.
Yeah. I think
that
that's
shame.
that it's heavy, and I'm like, whew.
And you know what? You say that, like, I mean, you say that, you bring it up, but shame is that number one thing that people carry the most of and can never get through that, right? Holding that shame, and I had to learn, it's okay. If shame is a situation you went through, it's okay. You're gonna go through more stuff. There's nothing to be ashamed of anything.
And why shame you? It's not your situation. Like, you didn't want this situation.
Yeah.
So
You
why
had
are
no
you
control
ashamed of
over
this?
that.
Right?
Yes.
You are the victim in
Yes.
this. So, like, it's just scary. Like,
And that was the other part of it, because I thought instantly, you know, I'm a Heyoka empath, so y'all can look that up too. But I don't just feel. I take people's stuff and make it my own, so I can take it off of you, right? That's why people in church used to be like, don't go hug Sister Lee, she's gonna make you cry, because I'm taking that off of you and it becomes my burden. But so instantly in that moment, when people were getting tired, and I get that, I understand that, not judging them, getting tired of getting up and down, I thought to myself, how does that person feel that checked off all of those things, and somebody's tired of standing up for them or holding space for them. And that is a real moment. Right? Just sit with that for just a moment.
I had to listen.
Yeah. And that's where I went. And I'll just be very transparent. Out of those 10, 9 and a half of those things I checked off. And so because of my hypervigilance and because I'm watching, I watched in the room who stood up every time, and then I knew who had mine, right? And so, although I'm sensitive to it, it didn't hurt my feelings, but that's because I'm a strong woman. I've built up, you know, my own strength and my own intestinal fortitude, but I'm thinking, what about somebody who's not as evolved as I am? Right. How they may have felt in that moment, it might have been triggering to go taking them back to a point where nobody stood up for them.
and I think the person who stood up for you, because I remember you saying that at the time when you knew who it was, she stood up with no problem. She didn't even complain.
At all.
At all.
At
I
all.
think I know who it was too, yeah.
I was like, dang. And she stood up proudly too. And I was like, wow.
And then what she shared, and you know what she said, I don't usually do this.
Right.
And then she came over and we asked her, you know, and I was able to ask her that question, what made you finally leave? And she spoke about it. I knew one day he was going to kill me. That was powerful in and of itself. And so it was a beautiful, beautiful day. It was
Yes,
a lot of
it was.
camaraderie. It was support. It was genuine love.
Yes.
But let's segue a little bit, because I want to speak on and not that it happened here today, but I want to speak on in these spaces of healing that you also have to use discernment.
Yes.
Right? And you have to be mindful and be aware,
Right.
because even in these healing spaces, there are predators, right? Especially where you're open, you're
Right.
vulnerable.
Yeah.
There are some people that come into these spaces looking for open
Yes.
and vulnerable
Vulnerability.
people,
Yes.
right?
People that feel alone, they're like, I'm gonna go see if I can find somebody who can relate to me.
Indeed,
Yes.
and they may find somebody that they can relate to, and they come to you and they're supportive in that, but there's some back door that they want to exploit through you.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing I want to be mindful
Yes.
of too. In these spaces while you're healing, don't lose your discernment.
No.
Don't stop listening to your intuition.
Right.
If something doesn't feel right, listen to
Yes.
that
Yes.
Right.
and move on
Yes.
that.
Right.
Be mindful
Right.
and be aware of your surroundings
Yes.
and people in these spaces, because you can be, and it's sad to say, but you can be victimized again
Yes.
in these
Can.
spaces. And
Yep.
so don't be that person.
No.
Go heal, touch some grass, some
Yeah.
dirt, something.
Something.
And that
Okay.
just
Stop
puts
being a
me
predator.
into the activity there with the Little Mermaid.
Yes.
Indeed.
Like she's trusted, her aunt or Ursula, and this is a person she wouldn't have thought had an ulterior motive behind it. Like, I'm coming to you with my problems, and I know you can help me, but you're thinking, what can I gain out of this?
Right.
Like, that's crazy.
And it's often those
The
that
closest to you.
you
Closest to
assimilate
you.
with, that you say, oh, this is a piece of me. I see this reflection of me.
Yes.
I see this reflection of me in you. And so I have this affinity towards you. But all along, you know that.
Yeah.
And you're in the space
Yes.
to get what you can get
Wow.
out of
Yeah.
me
Yes.
and play on
You're
me.
right.
And
Or
play
to
on me,
take
yeah.
something from me
Right.
without me being aware.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I will say, for any man or woman who is in that space of vulnerability and they're in a healing space, still be mindful.
Very mindful.
Very
mindful.
mindful. Yes.
Okay.
Them voices are there for a reason. They gonna speak to you. Listen to them.
Indeed.
Trust them.
Indeed.
And I wish I would have trust my gut when it was there, right? When I was going through that situation. But now I'm on high alert,
Right.
Now I'm just like all in, like, oh
Yeah.
really? Okay.
Yeah.
Trust what
Often
it says.
second guess ourselves,
Yeah, we
right?
do.
But
And sometimes if you unsure, even in your gut, you feel like I'm playing to, like, oh, I'm not sure, but my gut's saying one thing and like my mind's maybe saying another thing. Step back.
Yeah, and
Step
back
back and watch. All God will look. He'll make a way and show who's supposed to be in your life, and now He'll reveal it all. Just sit there and watch.
Yes.
Right? That's why you gotta be at peace. Silence is always a good thing sometimes. Sit in silence. Sit in silence
still.
and sit still and let it'll reveal itself.
let me tell you what almost got revealed up here. A prison sentence. Listen.
We ain't going to jail in Georgia now.
Brunswick is different, y'all.
Very
Different.
Man,
Okay?
they not like us.
They're really not like us here. That's a whole nother story for a whole different podcast. But let me just
like
tell
I said
you,
last night, welcome to the country.
baby, I am happy for growth.
Man, that growth.
Because anybody that really knows me, whoo, hallelujah, thank you, Jesus. Because
Listen.
coming in a Honda. Because listen, this little girl,
Man, I was thinking in my head, okay, how we gonna get her out? We can't get her out. We can't call Jay because he gonna be like, why y'all let us do it? Everybody, we can't let her do it.
you know what? I just really want to say, I am so thankful for my tribe, y'all. Because I am good, I am cool, I am laid back, I am the funnest, and yes, I said funnest, I know how to speak. I am one of the livest and most authentic people that you will meet until I'm not.
Right.
And that
Say
not
that again.
is what I can't control. That's why I'm so laid back. Y'all see on my personal IG, I have in my what is that called? Your feature or whatever?
Stories.
No, not the story where you just the highlight.
The highlights.
It says one of those that I have pinned said, "I'm so laid back because if I lean up, I'm going to jail."
Yeah.
Oh,
Exactly.
hear ye, hear ye. Last night in Brunswick, the DJ saved my life. It was DJ Nikki though. So growth. I didn't lay hands on somebody that actually deserved it, y'all.
But you know, that moment kind of took me back to something that we heard in church. The lady was talking about, and I don't know if you remember Linda, but she was talking about how back in the day, her growing up, that her and her cousins, if one got in a fight, they all got in a fight, and it wasn't jumping. But if you want to get to this one, you got to get through these.
Yes.
And last night made me think of that because I was like, she hit her, but I was ready, and then you was ready. Like,
No, I was ready.
You can't. I didn't want you to look at her by having to go through us.
Can I clarify though? She didn't hit me.
Oh no, not physically. It wasn't. Oh no, because this would not be an episode. No. Not hit. No. It was not hit. It was putting hair. She put hair on her.
Y'all got slapped in the eye with a ponytail. But
and it wasn't like on purpose. Well, I don't think it was on purpose. It was a very.
Let's say it wasn't on purpose.
Yeah.
Because I might go back.
No, it wasn't on purpose. She was just very
intoxicated.
Yeah, and not mindful of her space.
And there are a culture of folks that when they really get intoxicated, they lose all self-awareness and perception of personal bubbles, and apparently they lose feeling in their body parts too. You see?
And in their ponytails.
Okay, y'all, look, we gotta run this down real quick. So let me tell you, we went to a apothecary last night, speakeasy, basically. And it was nice, the vibe was cool. I was surprised there was so many, other folks in there, but it was a black band. But it was nice. Everybody was chill. It was cool. This chick behind me, y'all, kept dancing and kept bumping into me from the back. And if you know me, you know I don't like people touching me unless I know you, because I'm real serious about energy, right? And so it was a lot of them in there that was, first of all, I'm gonna tell you what started it. It was a dude standing to me, and I'm in my own vibe. And the dude, y'all, I'm sorry, he was standing there like this the whole. So I'm seeing him out of my periphery, right? And he's standing here like this the whole time, like staring at me, and then leaned in with this bitter breath. Oh my God!
Personal space. Understand what personal space is. And what are toothbrushes?
And I have a real keen nose on top of that. So and my face, y'all, I can fix my mouth, but my face is a whole different thing. And so I was like, immediately when he was like, "I like that song," and I was like,
"Oh my God, you feel like a toothbrush."
And I still turned, this way, keeping him in my periphery, but he stood there 3 feet from me. Okay, so that already put me on high alert.
Right.
So
we moved you.
Yes, moved me. And then this girl just keeps bumping and bumping and bumping. And so one time I turned like this, and I didn't say anything. I just looked, and she bumping again, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I just kind of slapped you, didn't I?" I didn't say anything. I just looked. Okay, that's growth in and of itself. So I was like, you know what? Let me regulate my emotions, right? Because I don't have to go extreme. I don't have to go the nuclear route. I'm a Scorpio. We either in or we ain't. Hot or cold. Ain't no middle.
Right.
Right? So that part. And so then I had just told Nikki, I took a deep breath and I said, you know what? We're in this place. There's a lot of people. This is why you don't go to the club, Nick, because people bump you. And yeah, I had to sock a dude one time. But anyway, that's another story. So anywho, I had just told Nikki, if she hit me, I said she got one more time. And as soon as that came out, sooner I said that, I'm standing there, and I guess she got close enough. She's behind me, y'all. And she got close enough to where her ponytail went through my glasses, slapped me in my eye,
and got caught in
eyeball, and got caught on my earring.
The scorpion earring.
The scorpion earring.
The irony of that.
Here's where it got real serious. Because here's me. I was going.
She was going.
I was about to choke this lady.
You were about to yank him out of hand, pull him back. It was gonna be Hulk smash.
Because I had been very patient.
You had.
However, let me just tell you about my tribe. Having a Scorpio mother,
Man, I know the looks.
which is Nikki to the rescue.
Man, I pictured everything. I knew it was happening. I saw her hand come up. I said, oh, she's gonna snatch the ponytail and she's gonna pull this girl. She's gonna be on. I pictured it. The girl was gonna call on the table and we was gonna. I said, bang, bang. Right. Bang, bang. In my head, I gotta beat Nikki's hand. That's what I gotta do.
And you did. You were good.
I gotta beat her hand.
Plot twist now. She got my hand. I'm cool. Then this little drunk heifer grabs Nikki's hand. Now I'm like,
Right.
cause
Aggressively, like, she was like, ugh. I was like, and then got my face, grabbed and pulled.
and now here go Linda. Whoa.
Wait, excuse you? Cause what? She done activated.
So now
Listen.
I'm really about to amp.
Her boyfriend.
Wait,
saw that shit. Sorry.
But Nikki said, not to me, to her. You didn't hit me. You hit her.
I'm trying to say sorry. I don't think you want to talk to her right now. That moment, I had a drink in my hand. Let me put a drink down real quick. Man. She about to get slapped. Yeah. But shout out to her boyfriend. Shout out to her boyfriend.
A DJ saved her life because, baby, he swiftly read the room.
Yes.
And swiftly escorted her away. I don't even know where.
No.
Because, baby, I was so out of body by that point. Look, the Kundalini was here.
Right.
Look, at any point of this video, we do not condone domestic violence.
That wouldn't have been domestic. That would have been foreign.
Right. We don't condone it. But we don't condone violence. If it needs to happen,
It's going
it will
down.
happen.
You got a Capricorn, a Sagittarius, and a Scorpio. Oh, it was going down.
And wait, we got 2 Sagittarius.
Ooh.
D is one too.
Ooh, yeah.
That's right. So,
I'm sure
D would have been here.
Oh, man.
no, we'd have been in prison.
Yeah.
We wouldn't even went to jail. We went straight.
D, we love you, but we already know me and you together.
No. It would have been going down. Yeah. So growth, right? Personal growth.
Yes.
And I'm glad we've been here. And let's drink to personal growth.
Yes.
And tribe.
And tribe. Yes. Have your sisters around. Cause
Yes,
listen, somebody got to step in if your growth decides to.
But you know that goes back to the word power.
Right? Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Look, one of our activities we had to do, right, was a word. Like Nikki said earlier, there was a word that we had to use, and our word was power. Every table had a word, and our word was power. And in conjunction with that, use that word and write a poem, right?
We had to write our own words first.
Yes, we also had to write our own words that had to do with, or when you think of this word, what else comes to mind with these, right? For example, power. You know, I had family, I had God, I had love, I had all these words. Overcome, right? So
Nikki had muscles.
Yeah, muscles.
Strength.
Yeah. So with that, we had to write a poem. But of course, who as us collab, we had
the best person in the room.
I know. We had the best person to write that poem. So in closing, right? Quick. And in closing, it's something positive.
Yes.
She's going to read the poem she wrote using all our words and combined.
Yes.
And the key word was power. So go ahead, Nikki.
So some of the words that I had in conjunction with what they wrote was strength, unity, community, movement, charged. I wrote a currency to move the needle, a time when I had none, building up myself. And so I took all of these words and quickly incorporated, and it was so easy because I feel it. I live it. Yeah. And we are experiencing this together. So tapping into their energy, and actually I touched y'all's books. When I looked at the words, I touched your books. And so that helped me to bring in your energy to write it. So power.
That's a source of power right there.
Indeed. And we had to stand up.
Yeah,
we had to stand up in front of everybody.
Coming to y'all as the sisters, what
Right.
they call it, the sisters of silence.
Strength in Silence is a podcast for the strong friend, whether it be male or female. I know it's all females, and sometimes we'll lean to more of a female tendency, but I do kind of be in my masculine bag a little bit. So did my voice get deeper?
A little bit.
A little bit. In my masculine bag. But so for balance, it's not just for women. These themes that we talk about sometimes are women related, but if you stick with us, you'll catch what's for you.
Yes.
Right? And so take what resonates and allow to roll off your back what doesn't. But there's a message in everything that we talk about for every person. Okay?
Yes.
Regardless of how you identify. Okay? So let us just close with this. Power. The moment I realized men had disempowered me, the moment I realized this was not the way it had to be. They had muscles. They were big. They had power. Where was my power? Where were my muscles? Where was my strength? Where was my family? My tribe? How would I overcome? Then I met my community of friends, of women in unity. We held hands, we united, we locked arms and charged each other. We found strength and became a currency to move the needle of power together. And now, I barely remember a time when I had no power. Instead of only building up myself, we are building trust together. Through God, we have the power. And so what we want to close and tell you, live in your power, sit in your power, redefine your power. Nobody can tell you who you are or where you are going. You have the choice. You're the vehicle, drive it. Take accountability for yourself in your life. And if your life is not what you want it to be, change your mind. And that's not something just somebody told me. I'm telling you what I live. You want your life to change, you must change your mind, and you also must change what you surround yourself with.
Absolutely.
And I choose, and we choose to surround ourselves with love.
Yes.
And there is power in love.
Yes.
And so if you don't remember anything else today, remember there is power in love, and you have the choice to change your life. And we sit here coming to you on location, strength in silence, as we hold up each other and we hold up you until the next time.
Bye.
Audi 5000!